We're live.
We're live.
It's been a while.
Oh my goodness.
That's why
It's been such a long time. Belated Merry Christmas, belated Happy New Year, and advance
Happy Valentine's Day.
All the occasions, all in one. It's great to be back, guys. I'm Lelaine Benitez, Editor-in-Chief here at Illustrado Magazine.
And I am Alvi Valerosa. I am the Features Editor of Illustrado Magazine.
And we're so excited today because we have such a wonderful issue to talk about. It's the most awaited issue of the year. It's Illustrado's 100 Most Influential Filipinos of the Gulf. But before that, we are here in the wonderful uber cool Stars and Bars.
In the very sunny La Mer here.
Sunny La Mer. What a wonderful day it is. So please stick around and join us. I know we have a lot of people waiting from all parts of the globe. So just stick around. You are at Illustrado Go Live. Before we begin, we always say thank you. Thank you to the people who have always supported us and who have made this possible. We are sponsors for today.
Because Illustrado Most Influential Filipino is now in its 4th edition, and it will not be possible without the support of Emirates Airline, Grand Stores, Instax SQ Fujifilm, Stars and Bars, Liali Jewelry, Dusitani Dubai, MPQ Tourism, Philbrit, CMG Group, Meeting Love Sports, and of course, Giver.
And of course, special thanks to our supporters, our longtime collaborators, photographers Roseanne Antonio, Jeff Anog, Alex Kaluweng, Ethereal Photography and Art Production in Abu Dhabi, the Style Curators, Mau Piodena IV, Gary Monroferos, and Monte Cristo's Event and Studios. And we'll play the sponsors role.
Welcome to Emirates, Mr. Jones. Just sit back, relax, then let us entertain you.
With over 3,500 channels of entertainment, including the latest movies and box sets from around the world. We even have live sports and news channels. And your free Wi-Fi will start shortly.
Enjoy your flight, Mr. Jones.
World's best in-flight entertainment. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Real life, beautifully squared. Instax Square SQ6.
Need something? Don't buy, get it free instead. Welcome to Giver. Everything is free, just pay delivery. Have useful stuff gathering dust in your closet? Don't trash it, give it away. Just good old giving and taking, made easy for you. That's good for the heart, and good for the planet. Giver, your friendly marketplace for sharing. Give and take for a better world.
Yay!
And we're back.
This is the magazine that everybody's been waiting for since what?
This
Probably
is it, guys.
Q3 last year, Ali. And please give us a background on the 100.
Well, for me, this is my what? This is the 4th edition, but this is my third Illustrado 100
Live, yeah.
Issue that I did, and it's very close to my heart because it's about 100 positive stories of Filipinos, great Filipinos who are doing great things in their respective fields and industry.
Definitely. I mean, we always say that we're all about all things to us no Filipino. So each year we try our very best to honor the best of our Filipinos out there. And this year it's very significant because it's not just honoring the achievers that we have. This year our theme is called Elevate. So please remember this word because for us in Illustrado this year, this word is so important. What do we mean by elevate?
It's a very big word.
It's a very big word.
Very big word.
Because in reality, there's so many Filipino achievers already. And of course, 100 is not enough to honor all our Filipino achievers out there. So what we're trying to do is to focus on the people who have gone beyond. So when we say elevate, we're really looking at Filipinos who have pushed the boundaries, broken the glass ceilings, competing with the rest of the world. Our message to the Filipino community this year is not just to look within the Filipino community. It's also time for us to join and, be with the best of them out there in the world, right, Alwi?
Beyond your comfort zone, beyond your community.
Beyond our community and, to be with the best of them out there in the world. And that's why we are talking about Filipinos who have elevated the Filipino community this year, starting with our game changers, right? So game changers, these are people of a totally different breed. These are the people who have actually changed things not only for the Filipino community, but for the world out there. They have affected the world. And
like these are the people who had like really big impact.
They have a big impact.
Changing the scale of their industries.
And changing the scale, yeah. And of course, when we talk about people from different industries, people from different walks of life, because there are so many ways of impacting the world. It's not just about building things or being an artist or being a fashion persona or being an influencer. There are so many ways to impact the world. But without any further ado, let's start with the first one on our list. And the first Filipino on our 100 list this year is... All right.
Our team photo.
our team photo. No, not our team photo, but it's really Felino Jun Palafox Jr. Now, this man that you're looking at on the screen right now, we've always wanted to feature him for so many years. If most of the people out there do not know, but there was a Filipino who was part of planning Dubai into the city that it is today. So Felino Jun Palafox Jr. or Jun Palafox to his friends, he was part of the planning. They were given a mandate by the late Sheikh Maktoum himself, and they were told back in 1977 to create a garden city for the world that will lead and will not be led. So this was his mandate. This was a Filipino guy, 27-year-old. He was the youngest.
And the only Southeast Asian in the team.
Within the team. So even from those days, we had Filipinos excelling already. And so he was part of building this great city to what it is today. After that, his company, Palafox and Associates, they have built over 1,500 architecture projects around the world, and I don't know how many billion square meters in terms of urban planning. So this guy has done so much for not only for the Filipino community, but for the rest of the architecture field.
Is it the time when Sheikh Zayed Road was only until the World Trade?
There was no Sheikh Zayed Road even.
No Sheikh Zayed Road at that time.
Actually, at that time, the mandate was to bring this country from the third world to the first world within 15 years. And we all know that they've done that. So
this is the country and the UAE that we know and enjoy today.
Exactly. That's why Jun Palafox is saying every time he comes back to Dubai, he feels a sense of fulfillment and gratitude that he was able to be a part of this legendary place. But I think what we have to emulate from him is not only him being successful, he also devotes a lot of his time and a lot of his resources helping out build communities and homes for people who are stricken with flood, disaster, earthquakes. And, it just goes to show that a man can use not only his power and resources to improve himself or to make himself a commercial success, he can also help the larger community. So there you go, folks. Felino Jun Palafox Jr., he's our first on the list for Illustrado's 100 this year. Going on to our second
interesting
Filipino
personality.
In fact, this was a very controversial choice for us.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of haters on social media. He's made some prominent enemies.
And memes.
Just because he's very vocal and he's got an advocacy towards democracy. He's very well known for articles that he's written for the New York Times, the Globe and Mail, the Guardian, and Time.com criticizing the Duterte government. Most Filipinos back home know him for this. What most Filipinos don't know is that he is also a world-renowned novelist who has won every award out there in the literary field.
Yeah, he won the Palanca, the
Palanca
biggest,
Hall of Fame, the Man Asian Literary Prize back in 2008. His book was listed as New York Times most notable book of 2010.
Which is called?
Illustrado, with a single L. So this is very serendipitous, I would say. And his book has become so important that it has been published in 20 countries, translated in 15 languages, and he's a professor of literature and creative writing at the NYU in Abu Dhabi. So students in Abu Dhabi are so fortunate to have somebody like Miguel Syjuco teaching them, the ropes in creative writing and literature. And I think he's got a very important message in terms of democracy, Alwi.
Yes, because I believe he's also writing a new book. It's called I Was the Presidents Mistress.
Yeah, so something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to. I think it's going to be released in Canada and the US.
And the US. And he's working on a platform for civil discourse. They call it Usapang Atin. And he's working on this with Reverend Ted Gallardo, who is a Duterte supporter. So it just goes to show you that somebody who doesn't actually agree with the government can agree with somebody who actually supports the government. The whole point of Usapang Atin is to put out there, a model by which people can converse or discuss political issues, in a very calm and productive way. So they're going to be churning out this Usapang Atin project so that people around the world, people in the Philippines can use it as a model, because the whole point that Miguel Syjuco is trying to drive across there is that we have to find solutions among ourselves, not just believe blindly in what politicians have to say. It doesn't matter whether you agree with him politically or not. I think there's a lesson to be gained from this. And that is, if we ourselves get involved and if we discuss amongst ourselves, we can be part of the solution instead of just bickering on social media. So
that's what I really like about this project, because it's so inclusive and it doesn't smart shame, or like if you have an opinion, you can just like freely say it.
Exactly.
And just be part of the conversation.
So it doesn't really matter who you support. It doesn't really matter which side you are on. The most important thing is to discuss. And for that, we have included Miguel Syjuco as our number 2 in Illustrado's 100 MIFG. Now, our third honoree is Sharifa Al Belushi, who is an Emirati Filipina pilot with Etihad Airways. What an exciting, what an exciting time for us to announce that there is, in fact, an Emirati Filipina pilot, and she's part of the rare breed of empowered women rising up in, in a sector where it was typically more male-dominated, right, Alwi?
Yes. And what I really like about Shareefa is that she is so proud of both her heritage, the Emirati heritage, the pride of being an Emirati nationality, and balancing that with the values that she learned from her Filipina mom.
Yeah, she's saying here that her other half as a Filipina, the values of family and being humble, hardworking but smart, all made me who I am today. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go, Sharifa Al Belushi, Emirati Filipino pilot, one of the rare breed of empowered women who are pushing their way to progress here in the Gulf region. And then we have a scientist, Dr. Michael Purugganan. You have heard of him last year.
Last year.
He has a very important project with the New York University in Abu Dhabi. He was awarded the Date Palm Award by Sheikh Nahyan a couple of years ago, and they've got some very important scientific announcement that they will be making this year with the date palm, which is the most prolific, I would say, plant or tree here in the Gulf region. So, nerd levels knowledge
we're not
there.
even going to go deep into that, like with the terminologies.
I can't even pretend. So, but congratulations, Dr. Michael Porygon, and we're waiting to find out what you have done and developed for the science this year. And then next we have Ilya Diaz. Ilya Diaz.
Ilya Diaz. I'm just very excited about Ilya because we featured him last year for 100 MIFG. And that was, it was shot in 2017, and then the story went out in 2018. And for me that time, like his participation in the Expo 2020 feels so far. But now it's 2019 and like Expo 2020 is next year.
Yeah,
like,
just isang
it's
tulog
within
na
the
lang.
grasp,
Like, we say, ilang tulog na lang, and Dubai Expo 2020 is there. A Filipino is going to be highlighting his work. We're so excited about that. What's new with Ilak this year is that he's gone on, this is the largest Filipino led cause that is going around the globe this year, and it's with a peace boat in collaboration with the NGO Peace Boat in Japan. They call it Voyage of Light. So right now they're in a boat, they're going around the world, country to country, installing these lights.
They've installed 350,000 lights in 15 different countries already.
So quite literally, that's why we call him Ilya Diaz. May your tribe increase. More power to you, Ilak, and hope that we will see more families benefiting from your advocacy there. And next, this person needs not much of an introduction because everybody knows him.
Everyone knows him.
We call him the people's lawyer, Barney Almazar, and you know of his work. apart from his work in the corporate law sector, he's also done a lot of help for the Filipino community. He's launched books that help Filipinos to be law-abiding citizens. He does, workshops to help Filipinos out there with their problems. I got excited because there was one point that he was talking about that last year that he accomplished. He helped in the acquisition of a $125 million UAE firm by a Filipino company. So this is not something you hear about every day. So
well, I think this is why he is part of the top 40 young lawyers
of Asia, according to Thomas Reuters, right? So, Attorney Barney Almazar, let me just repeat that again. It was an acquisition of an Emirati company to the tune of $125 million dollars
wow,
by a Filipino company. So, amazing times ahead, and hopefully we'll hear more about that. And moving on to our next very interesting honoree, Maha Al-Shamsi at number 7. You want to talk about Maha, Alwi?
Well, I was just so surprised when I met her because, always hear Maha Al-Shamsi and or our team would talk about her.
Yeah.
But I've seen some of the photos, but it felt so different when I met her in person during the shoot.
Nothing prepares you because when she breaks out in very fluent Tagalog and she's so casual and normal, she's as Filipina as anybody out there. She's Filipina Emirati, and the interesting thing about Maha, apart from being multicultural, is that she's an entrepreneur. She's got a fashion business called MC & Co. But she's also a car racer. So you will see a lot of pictures of her with her. Let me just make sure that I pronounce that correctly. It's the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, which is one of the meanest, baddest cars out there, in her stilettos. So she's an advisor to the Lamborghini worldwide system, one of the few female advisors for Lamborghini. And she's also part of the Arabian Gazelles, which is an all-female luxury and supercar owners club.
But I also love the fact that Maha represents the new face of female empowerment and ethnic amalgamation.
Exactly. So, women are not relegated to traditional roles anymore. You want to be a car racer, you've got a Maha Al-Shamsi to look up to. And she's also a mom and she's a loving wife, so she's doing it all. Congratulations, Maha Al-Shamsi.
Congratulations.
And more power to you this year. Our next, honoree does not need much of an introduction.
Everyone knows him.
He's a society icon in Dubai, was featured in Esquire magazine. He's the OG. Bong Guerrero, who is the fashion catalyst, who was very instrumental in, pushing Dubai to become the fashion capital of the Middle East with Fashion Forward. Of course, he also heads Bragg Events, and they've done so many great things for, A-list brands out here in the UAE. So.
And I think it's also, there's no denying that Bong Guerrero is one of the key people who have also helped the likes of Michael Cinco, Amato, and Santos really penetrate and lead the booming fashion industry of UAE.
I feel that it's an ecosystem. So it's really all of these people helping each other and, bringing everybody forward with them. So Bong Guerrero, I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of great things about him this year, and more power to you. Another person who doesn't need much introduction is Ezra Santos, who just came fresh from his fashion show in Harbin, China.
Yes, I was watching the video last night.
Yeah, so going as far as China there to showcase his ingenuity on the runway. Always excited to see what Ezra is doing. If you have seen our live streams before in our articles, Ezra has pioneered the modernizing of the Filipiniana look.
That's what I really like about Ezra. Championing the Filipino aesthetic and design, and even the materials, putting it into his couture creations.
Exactly. So, and there's a lot to look forward to with Ezra. He's got a new shop there in Sheikh Zayed Road, and it's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Always a pleasure to see Ezra within our list of 100. And next,
I don't think this person needs introduction.
We don't even need to talk about him anymore. We always talk about him, but you guys, of course Michael Cinco is there. Michael Cinco will always be there. Michael has done so many great things. In fact, there's so many things we can't even talk about them anymore. But a lot of things to look forward to in the coming year is that Michael's gown will be on Pia Wurtzbach's wax figure at the Madame Tussauds in Hong Kong, and that's going to be launched soon. So that Miss Universe blue number that she wore in 2015 is going to be featured in the museum in Hong Kong. And Michael also has a cruise fashion show on the way that's coming very soon in Asia. So he's not only conquering the fashion stage here in the Middle East, in Europe and in the US, but Asia is also very much part of his trajectory this year.
But one thing that I really like about Michael is that, you know, when you've been doing great things, how do you top that?
How do you top that, Michael? Please answer us. Drop us a note here.
And another thing that really surprised me is that, like, he's very well known in the fashion community.
I know, yeah.
But I saw him in Seoul DXB, and these young Emirati girls are just like, I know him. He's like the famous designer. Like,
yeah,
I
they were
love
taking
his
photos
work.
of him, but he still remains humble, and I think that's part of his success, really. So, more power to you, Michael. We don't know how do you do it, but every year you astound us with your collections and your beautiful pieces. So
Just amazing.
More power to you. And I think we'll make a pause here just to acknowledge whoever's watching out there. Thank you guys for joining us. I know that we've been late because of some technical issues, but thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you are, in wherever part of the world you are, please drop us a note. And if you have thoughts on how Filipinos can elevate themselves, please share that too with us. Do you want to greet some people?
Yeah, I want to say hi to Regina Martin Marauta.
Hey, Regina, where are you? She's
Rian
probably not in
Miranda
Dubai.
is watching
Saudi
from
Arabia.
Riyadh.
Hi, Riyadh.
Honey De La Cruz is
Hey,
also
honey.
saying hi. Agnes Aquino Briggs, hello.
All the way from Ruwais. Hello.
Josephine Cuthbert is...
Hi, Josephine.
Joe Dark is watching.
Yay.
Joel Guerrero is watching. Don Almario. Miss Malu Prado is also watching, saying hi to you.
Team MPQ, hello, and thank you for your support
Iman
always.
Sogitan is watching. Rex Bacala is watching.
Hi,
who
Rex.
wrote a very special article for us in this issue.
Exactly. Rex Bacala, he wrote a very special article about the people behind Illustrado, so that's us. We'll publish that very soon so you understand a little bit more about how we work and, the philosophies and values that we have. We'll share that with you.
And also saying hi to Ivan, Grace Soriano.
Hi, guys.
Haiku De Sesto is also watching. Calder Cuenco, Abigadi Cruz, Fio Inaje, Ron Awa. So much of you. We're so sorry if we're not able to say hi
Earlier,
and
but yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
We know you're there. Stay
How
with
you
us,
guys are
okay?
watching.
We
We
just
are
got
now
started.
in
Number
number
11.
11.
And okay, and again, probably not a lot of people know out there, there's a Filipino couple headed by Robert Bagatsing, and he has created the biggest platform for engineers and scientists around the world. It's called Geniers.com, and he's got about 20 million in audiences every single month. So this is a platform where people read about advances in engineering and in science and all that. Robert, with his team, publishes 7 magazines, through Geniers.com. They have worked with so many great companies like Google, Apple, Amazon, Baidu and To-Do in China, and then Yandex in Russia.
They're big.
They're big.
But what I like about the whole structure of the business is that a portion of their earnings go
Exactly,
to charity.
yeah.
He says that he is a father of 1,700 children in Kenya, South Africa, India, Syria, and in the Philippines.
Exactly. So they've adopted these children, Robert Bakatsing and Emmeline, they've adopted these children. They're providing food, clothing, shelter, and education for all these children because they believe that entrepreneurship can be used for great social impact around the world and to change the lives of the needy. So
And giving them something that cannot be taken away from them.
exactly. So Robert Bagatsing, kudos to you. May your tribe increase. As we always say, we need more people like you in the world. And that's it for our list of game changers. Now we go to Trailblazers.
The Trailblazers.
So, what are the Trailblazers? So, if our game changers have gone beyond, beyond the typical limits of, whatever we perceive for Filipinos, Trailblazers have also gone beyond, but they're crafting new paths within their, sectors for Filipinos. Of course, the first Filipino in our Trailblazer section is no other than...
Consul General Paul Raymond Cortez.
Well, we always say that he's probably the busiest and most hardworking Filipino in the entire UAE, and we know that for a fact because we've seen how hard he works.
And very supportive.
Very supportive, and it's not just about improving consular services and making sure that things are taken care of. He's also trying to bring the Filipino community together with so many different projects that will allow people to be recognized for their talents.
What I really like about Conjan is that he's very giving. If he can, like if it's like 4 events, 5 events in one day, if he can make an appearance in these events, it's just like,
We tell him he's very giving to a fault because he has no time to rest anymore, but that's the man. He's very passionate about what he does.
He is watching, so Conjan, hi to you.
Conjan, if you're there, thank you always for, putting your best out there for the Filipino community, and we do appreciate that. In the picture that you're looking at, Conjan is joined by his team of vice consuls, Elizabeth P. Ramos and Marian Bringas. Thank you, ma'am, for helping us always here also. And yeah, there you go, Conjan.
And also,
Cortez,
if I may just add, with the work of the consular office, it's also the representation of us in a diplomatic level, right?
Yeah.
So it's very important that they are there. They don't just go to the event and like give a speech.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Conjan's, and his team. One of the most important, projects that they're trying to push out there is entrepreneurship. In collaboration with the Philippine Business Council of Dubai and Northern Emirates. So he's also a proponent of entrepreneurship. So it's a big deal. There's a lot of things going on, and we hope and we wish for the success of your projects, Conjan. And our next person in the 100 is Labor Attache Felicitas Q. Bay. Not a relative of Michael Bay of Transformers fame, but a really famous and very effective Bay nonetheless. She was Chief Prosecution Division back in the Philippines when she was there, but she's already served in Korea and other countries. And of course, as labor attaché at the Polo, her main mandate is to make sure that the welfare of Filipinos is protected and served here in the United Arab Emirates.
And she is very geared for that. She's armed with 28 years of experience.
Exactly. Another very interesting persona in our list this year, a new entrant or a new honoree is Commercial Attaché Charmaine Mignon S. Yalong. Okay? Don't be fooled by her age. Okay, because she's a millennial, but for whatever she lacks in experience, she says, she makes up for passion and, knowledge and drive to do her work. So she's championing trade for the Filipino community and in relation to the UAE as her position. And Charmaine Yalong was working with the DTI from as early as 19 years old. So this lady knows what she's doing. She's very young, she's very driven, very hungry for progress, and she believes that the Filipinos can make so much big difference out here in the UAE, right?
Yes.
So
millennials.
It's not true that millennials are just relaxed and you know what I'm talking about, Ali. Right. So there you go. And of course, just to acknowledge our ambassadors out there in the GCC who are not only making sure that our embassies and our consulates are functioning well, their mandate is to make sure that bilateral relations between the Philippines and the host countries are okay.
That's very important.
And of course, they're protecting the Filipino community's welfare and at the same time, helping to bridge the gap with cultural programs and other initiatives. So
we're gonna go through the ambassadors we have in other countries in the Gulf. First off is Ambassador Alfonso Ferdinand Ver
of
our
Bahrain.
Philippine ambassador to Bahrain.
Of course, in Saudi Arabia, we have His Excellency Adnan V. Alonto,
and then
supported
in
by Conjan Ed Badajos, who is Consul General in Jeddah.
And we also have Nordin Pendulin Lomondot in Kuwait.
Who's you avoided that.
It's French, I cannot pronounce
It's Chargé d'Affaires.
Okay.
So, it's Chargé d'Affaires Lomondot in Kuwait, who has a very critical mission in Kuwait because after the crisis last year, he has to work doubly hard in reestablishing ties with Kuwait. And, they've already made headway, and he's hoping that very soon an embassy, Philippine embassy in Kuwait will be reestablished. Right. Moving on to one of our very, one of the most charming people out there,
Yeah.
I have to say. And you want to say something about her, Alwi?
No, because I mean, we're talking about Madam Yasmin Balahadia Cortez, the diplomatic spouse to our Consul General Paul Raymond Cortez. She's just amazing. I mean, if you are talking about like the works of like how hard it is to be a Consul General, but you also need a very supportive person beside you.
Because she is doing a lot of these cultural projects, like art exhibitions, debate, in inter-school debates for the Filipino schools. They had a theater production this year. They have Dubai Musikahan. They have the Bayanihan, events for the Filipino community. This lady is so busy, but she gives true to the adage that this is the woman not behind the man, but the woman next to the man. We always say that behind every successful man is a successful woman, but in this case, it's beside the successful man is another successful woman. So, Madam Yasmin Balahadia Cortez, more power to you and to your works this year. Oh, very interesting.
Of course.
Yay. Okay, Alvi, go ahead.
And so we have our rockstar chefs.
Rock star chefs.
Because like we're not just talking about 2, we're talking about like 4 of them.
We're talking about 4 rock star chefs this year. And to start with, we have Chef Andrew Paderes, who is executive chef here at Stars and Bars. But of course, he's got shining credentials. He trained in Nobu. He trained in Maze, which is the restaurant of Gordon Ramsay.
In Doha.
In Doha, he was in charge of the Gramercy and Claw, and now executive chef here in Stars and Bars.
But even with all of those credentials, you see Chef Andrew, you talk to him, he's very humble.
He's very humble,
person.
very easygoing. Last year, he launched a project with his European counterparts. It's called 13 Chefs. And in 2019, he's invited to do heritage cooking in the Ukraine to familiarize the chefs there in Ukraine with Filipino cuisine. So he told us he's going to be cooking adobo for the chefs in Ukraine. What an amazing feat. So congratulations, Chef Andrew. We hope you do more good things.
Next up, at number 21, another rockstar chef, Chef Roland Puse now. Did I say?
Yes, that's correct.
Roland Puse.
Roland
But he
Puse.
grew up in Paris, right?
He grew up in Paris, but I know that Chef is watching because he's been messaging us since earlier. Chef, if you're there, please send us a note. So Chef Roland Puse is actually born to Bulacanyo parents. He was born in Paris, and then he moved to London. He trained with so many great restaurants there, and then he was brought to Dubai to start Le Petit Maison, which is a very popular restaurant in Dubai. So he was part of the opening team at Le Petit Maison, and then after that, he started 2 outlets of Koya, which is an award-winning French, Italian, American, Latin restaurant. And there's a new adventure for Chef Roland this year. Because from Koya in Abu Dhabi here, in the UAE, the 2 branches, he's being sent to Paris, France, of course, as executive chef, to open another Koya branch in the world's capital for great food, right? So I was asking him, don't you feel nervous about this? Because you're going to be, sitting side by side the great chefs of Paris, and you're there and you're opening. And you know what he said? That he's just excited because he left Paris when he was 13 years old. And back then he was a clueless boy, and now he's going back to Paris as an executive chef to start one of the world-renowned restaurants. So Chef Roland Puse, congratulations to you. We wish you well.
But of course, I'm not gonna be tired of saying this. Another rockstar chef, we have Chef Jade Saducas, who is the
She's world-winning. Yeah, she's a world-awarded chef.
Because I wanted to read here, the pastry and chef cake designer world champion. She is with the Madinat Jumeirah now.
Yeah, with the Madinat Jumeirah group, which covers actually 5 outlets. So she's making pastries and cakes and all of those great things for Jumeirah Al Nasim, Dar Al Masyaf Hotel, Alcazar, Mina Salam, plus the conference center and Jumeirah Hospitality. So she's covering so much.
And this is the kind of industry that is very dominated by male figures.
Exactly.
And to be thriving in this type of industry as a woman.
As a very petite Filipina who can actually kick-ass.
Yes.
I can't say that in front of the camera, but yeah, she's really amazing. And, she's won the world champion for cake designing. So Chef Jade, she was featured in Huawei Stories last year, and we're looking forward to so many more good things, that she's going to be doing this year. Right. Next one, another controversial figure, but we love the story, Chef Jon
I
Buenaventura.
think this is one of my favorite stories for this issue.
Exactly. So Chef Jon had a very harrowing year last year after such critical acclaim for his restaurant, Cuisinero Uno. Even Sheikh Fazza visited them, and world-renowned chefs were going there. Because of the market pressure, Cuisinero Uno had to close down last year. So that was a big blow in the career of Chef Jon Buenaventura. But you know what? What happens with people who are great is that they just keep on going and they bounce back. And just like a phoenix rising from the ashes, Chef Jon is on to his new adventure as the executive sous chef for the soon-to-be-opened Waldorf Astoria in the IFC. Very young for this position, Filipino in this elite team. So this is a great thing. We wish Chef Jon very well. And I think what we're trying to what we're trying to convey with this story is that just because a person gets down, and this is typical of life, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, it doesn't mean you're going to stay there. What we're trying to say is that your power to influence people, your power as a role model can continue. So it's up to you. So Chef Jon Buenaventura, more power to you.
And congratulations. I know you're going to be opening a lot more.
He says we have not heard the last of Cuisinero Uno, so there is a plan to revive that in the future. So we wish you very well and keep going. Yeah. Next we have Francis Ishka Serra. And he presented it was his first foray into the runway, his debut. And where else can you debut but Paris?
Yeah.
In International Paris Fashion Week. So
imagine just getting the applause of the Parisians for a couture runway show.
Yeah, Ishka says it was very unnerving, but nonetheless, he made it very successfully. He garnered the applause in France. And this makes a big difference for us because for the longest time, people have been requesting Ishka Zeta to, have a fashion show or a gala for his collection here in Dubai. But he's been holding out for the longest time because this is what he was dreaming of. And his dream, came through last year. So congratulations very much, Ishka, and your artistry is going to go on and on, and we look forward to seeing more of your work, right?
Another brilliant designer that we have on our list at 25 is Ryan Pacholes. So he did his debut in the Fashion Forward in 2017.
Only.
Yeah. But he's been conquering the world with
He's been
his
conquering the
designs.
world, yeah. So Ryan Pacholes has done so much in the last year. He's shown in Paris twice. He had a show in Russia. He premiered his show in London Fashion Week also, apart from all the shows that he's joined out here in the region under Atelier Zuhura.
Not to mention all the celebrities that he dressed up
Exactly.
in the last year.
We don't know how you do it, Ryan, but you just did, and
But
congratulations
always
to
stay
you.
humble, very, very humble and sweet person.
Exactly. So more power to Ryan Pacholes there. Next one, another very interesting person, another one of our trailblazers is Andronico Del Rosario. He's a creative entrepreneur. He's worked on projects like Top Gear, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, so many video projects and music videos, not only in Dubai but also in Canada. He takes care of production and creates props and setups for all these films and, all these movies. I think what strikes me as special in his story is that he started from nowhere.
Yeah.
We featured him when Illustrado was still new, and he used to tell us that he would walk the streets penniless, and he would look at collecting scraps. He would collect scraps and turn them, repurpose them into props. And that's where he started. So his example is like a man can have nothing and still end up as somebody big and somebody who can, who you can look up to as a role model.
He was even nominated at the 2017 Canadian Screen Awards for Best Production or Art Direction.
Exactly, but very humble guy, very humble guy. Kudos to you, Andronico Del Rosario, and we hope that you'll accomplish even more in the future. Next person we have is Roland Rodriguez, artist and entrepreneur. Yes.
Yeah. He is the Brown Monkeys instigator and founder of Ape Creative.
Yeah, so he started the lowbrow art movement out here in the UAE. Without this man, there won't be any lowbrow art movement. So he's very important. Last year, with his agency, Ape Creative, they've won awards at the Indigo Design Awards held in Tokyo, Japan. Now, I know Roland, or who other people call as Dog Boy, that's his moniker. He's had some health problems, and I think he's staying in the Philippines right now. So, Roland, we wish you well. We hope that you're able to recover very soon, and we only have good wishes for you.
And do more amazing things.
Do more amazing
We're looking
things.
forward to that.
Get healthy quick. All right.
Another award-winning person that we have on our list now at number 28
I've given up on this person.
I've given up counting his awards, but I did. He won 350 local and international awards. We're talking about none other than Mario Cardenas. He is a photographer.
We can't say anything more for Mario Cardenas. Almost close to 400 local and international awards. The question is still how, Mario. So maybe one day you can share your secret, to being such a big success. And Mario also had his solo exhibition for his photography this year in Abu Dhabi. So Mario, congratulations to you. Ooh, one of our favorite girls out there, one of our favorite artists,
She is a very lovely lady.
Very lovely lady, yeah.
Because she is very eloquent, she is humorous, she's classy.
She shines.
She shines.
And
she is a star. If you see her in a room, she is a star.
Yeah, she was invited to perform, and she performed at the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi's anniversary event, right? So how many of us can say that we were invited to perform or to showcase our work at the Louvre? So congratulations, Donna Bell Gutierrez. Donna Bell has 2 books. She has also won the Best Actress Award at the Emirates Short Film Festival. And then she was also awarded by the Filipino Women's Council as one of the most influential emerging Filipino leaders. And there are so many things that she has done, and that we're very sure she will do more.
She went to the UK. She is a Best Actress for the Emirates Film Fest. She is just amazing.
So keep going, Donna Bell.
And looking forward to your next book.
There you go. Next, we have Steve Patrick Moore. At 30, he's a host. He's done every conceivable sports event out there, not just in the Filipino community, but mostly really multicultural events. He did 50 events within the span of 1 quarter last year. And he's a great host.
How do you make time for that?
Sports commentator at the same time. He did the Trending Pinoy show for GMA7.
And he's been booked for the 2019 ESPN World Special Olympics.
So a lot more things to see from Steve Patrick Moore. Next person we have is Ron Awa. He's the community champion for filmmakers. Without him, there won't be an Emirates Short Film Festival. So he's been doing that for the last 6 years, and they have churned out some 500 indie films, short films. And he's also heading the Emirates Group Photography Club, which has 3,000 members. And he's a tireless campaigner for art. So if you're in that sector, Ron Awa is your guy.
And another,
Chocolate Sisters.
The Chocolate Sisters, Iman and Lucy Sugitan, the social entrepreneurs, they have launched the OFW para sa magsasaka in 2016, helping out the Filipino chocolate farmers in Agusan del Sur. But last year, they made another brand called Co Chocolate.
Co Chocolate, yeah. So they brought artisanal chocolates to the UAE from the Philippines, premium chocolates, gourmet chocolates, using only the best ingredients, sugar-free. So it's very healthy type of chocolate. They're in
they actually say that whether
events.
you are diabetic, vegan, into paleo, keto, or high protein diet, there is something for you.
There's something for you out there. So worth checking, and it's not only because the chocolates are good. It's because those chocolates are produced by farmers that these 2 sisters are helping out. They're giving them livelihood.
I love that. Businesses with a heart, like helping out
Businesses with
people.
a heart. Another, advocate for a cause is Johanna Bacala, who flies, she's a stewardess, but she's also a clean water campaigner. So she has spoken around the world in conferences and summits about clean water. So she's campaigning for clean water, something that is very basic for all of us, but something that she is so passionate about. And in the Philippines, she has also partnered with several organizations to help people and to teach them how to access clean water and, you know, how to make the most of it. So, Johanna Bacala, mabruk to you. Keep on going. Right. Next in line
is Rowena Nidwaza. She is a public speaker and a comedian. Well, for me, like when I see people like this, like even if you say like comedian, I get intimidated.
Why?
They're just like a big personality.
Yeah, she is a big personality. In fact, she's so big that she was a keynote speaker at the Dubai Women's Summit, sharing the stage with non-Filipino, multicultural leaders from all parts of the globe. So when it comes to women empowerment, we have one Filipina that always stands out. That is Rowena Nidwaza.
And this year, she is slated to be part of another Women Empowerment Summit, this time in Manila.
Yeah. And those summits are multicultural. So you've got representation from different parts of the world. And she also is a stand-up comic, and she features in this series called Comedy Cocktails. She's always making fun of her husband and her family life, so something to look forward to.
Yeah, doing shows and with well-known personalities from India and Saudi Arabia.
There you go, Rowena Nidwaza. Next up, we have Cristina Magallon, who has created a platform, UAE DNA, which has a very strong following on Twitter and on LinkedIn. UAE DNA features entrepreneurs from different communities. It's a multicultural platform, so they're a leader in that field. They're always talking about entrepreneurship and different initiatives across the UAE. Cristina is also a writer, and she has co-written a couple of books. Currently, she's working on The Descendants of the Dirham with some top UAE advisors, and that book will be launched very soon.
In time for the Expo 2020.
In time for the Expo 2020. Still speaking about entrepreneurship, we have the Philippine Business Council of Dubai and the Northern Emirates. They are the vanguards of entrepreneurship for the Filipino community out here. So if you're into business, if you are an aspiring business owner someday, the Philippine Business Council is the group that you should be joining. So there are so many activities during the year, including socializing for business, education for business, interface, which is their landmark. I'm talking about the PBC like I'm not part of it. I'm vice chairman of the PBC, by the way. But please join the Philippine Business Council of Dubai and the Northern Emirates. And, the PBC will be launching the PVC Fellowship very soon. You can apply until the 1st of February. This is an 8-month fellowship program that will help people transition from being employees to entrepreneurs. They have so many workshop facilitators who are authorities in their field. So if you want to learn how you can set up a business, please join the PVC Fellowship. And there is a grant for 50,000 dirhams that is coming from one of their sponsors, LBC. So there will be a business pitch at the end of this 8-month program, and whoever wins will get that grant to start off their business. Next on the line is at 37 is LSE Dubai. This is the Ateneo Leadership and Social Entrepreneurship Program, which is the biggest Filipino entrepreneurship program in the world, spanning 27 countries, and they have given birth, I'd like to say that, they've given birth to over thousands of Filipinos, entrepreneurs across the world.
2018 is actually their 10th year anniversary, and they've produced 2,500 graduates, with 460 of them from the UAE.
Right, okay. And then, our next one. Right, are we catching our breath or what?
We're now at number 38.
We're now at number 38, and this is our last group of Trailblazers, and they're the Briggs family, okay? Very few people know that the start of the Philippine rugby passion started with an Englishman, and he's Trevor Stott Briggs, okay? Trevor Stott Briggs moved to the Philippines back in the 80s, and he ended up starting the PRFU with his friends. What is the PRFU? Just the Philippine Rugby Football Union, all right? Because there was no activity for rugby back in the day, so they had to start the union. Little did they know that the PRFU is going to be, fanning out into, I think, 18 different clubs across the country, and they'll be part of the international rugby circuit. Now, what happened, and stay with me here, Trevor had to move to the UAE, and he started other clubs here. And you're probably wondering what the other Filipino dimension is here. Trevor had an accident back in 2011, and that paralyzed him. So that relegated him to being in a wheelchair. Although now he has fully recovered and he's working, wearing crutches. But all this time, him and his kids are still involved in rugby. Okay, with Agnes Briggs, who was former Philippine Business Council chairman in Abu Dhabi, supporting the family all the way. And this year, the story comes full circle because their son, Kyle Briggs, has been chosen to join the Filipino Volcanoes in the under-19 category, and he has played with them his first championship last December.
I think that's one thing that is very special. If someone is very passionate, you pass on the torch, you pass on the legacy.
Pass on the torch. So if you see here, the story comes full circle. From his father starting the sport in the Philippines, to the sport flourishing in the Philippines, and now to the son going back to the Philippines to play for the Philippine Volcanoes. We feel that that is a story that deserves to be told. So kudos to the Briggs family. We wish you safe games. Don't hurt yourselves.
Yes.
But, thank you for doing all that you're doing for the sport in the Philippines. And right now, I think we're going to take a quick breather, and we'll say thank you to our sponsors once again, and then we will be continuing with Illustrado's 100 Most Influential Filipinos of the Gulf.
Welcome to Emirates, Mr. Jones. Just sit back, relax, then let us entertain you.
With over 3,500 channels of entertainment, including the latest movies and box sets from around the world. We even have live sports and news channels. And your free Wi-Fi will start shortly.
Enjoy your flight, Mr. Jones.
World's best in-flight entertainment. Fly Emirates, fly better.
Real life, beautifully squared. Instax Square SQ6.
Need something? Don't buy, get it free instead. Welcome to Giver. Everything is free, just pay delivery. Have useful stuff gathering dust in your closet? Don't trash it, give it away. Just good old giving and taking, made easy for you. That's good for the heart, and good for the planet. Giver, your friendly marketplace for sharing. Give and take for a better world.
We're back.
And we're back, and we have a special guest today.
Yes.
We have Jamshir Abdul Nasser from Fujifilm, the brand manager.
Yes.
Thank you very much for supporting us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
And
Yeah.
let me just take this time. I would like to say hi to Gopal, also, and to Ray and Shaji. Thank you guys always for your support
All these years.
all these years. Now, Jamshir,
pleasure.
you have a beautiful camera to talk about today, please. Can you tell us about the new Fujifilm?
Yeah, sure. First of all, congratulations for the top 100 team who are people who put the name in the list. So congratulations, guys. And my name is Jamshir Abdul Nasser, as I said, and I'm the brand manager of Fujifilm in Grand Stores. This is a new Fujifilm SQ6 which we are promoting now. Like this is a square format. The Fujifilm Instax were there in the market since 1998, and there's a lot of many formats came across the market. And there's a new format which is it's called the square format Fujifilm, which is the new fashion trend. It's the Instagrammable type of film format.
Actually, it's got that very cool retro vibe with it, doesn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And it's an analog CD. It's not that we cannot reproduce it, like a digital.
Okay.
So once you click, the moment what you have the photo in your hand, that's it. So that's then, it gives you the traditional, the filmy effect as well. It's a new trendy thing which you can
Let me just clarify that. So you can actually print the photo, right, in that square film format.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can save the digital.
No.
Oh, not
That's
with this
the catch.
one. Yeah.
No, we have a hybrid, but that's not the fun. Fun part is here.
Okay.
So that now you got all the mobiles, you got a lot of digital cameras.
Yeah.
So it's like you click, you see.
I
you
know, there's
delete
nothing
it.
to hold,
It's nothing to hold and nothing to feel that, the picturistic,
Exactly.
the old film type of things. But here you click, you get the picture. That's the moment.
Yeah, and I've
once
seen,
you lose the shot, and that's it, you don't get it.
And
so
I-
you can reproduce that one.
I've seen what people are doing about this. Friends, what they do is that they scribble a note or some kind of a dedication because it captures the moment,
I
right?
think what's really good also with this camera is that it has, I believe, 3 filters.
It's got 3 filters. And it's
we
got
love the filters.
So like for you guys who are like on Instagram, like
Hashtag filtered. Okay.
you can have a printed photo but with filters.
Yeah, it's analog Instagram, So you do it yourself and you don't edit anything and you get just one print and that moment and you can make a note of it and you can do a lot of decos at home and you can keep that
Yeah, you can keep that on your walls.
in your wall and there's a lot of things you can do it and it's an analog, the old-fashioned camera in a new trend.
Where can we get this camera?
Oh, okay. We are actually from Grand Stores. We are the distributors for Instax cameras in the UAE region. and you can buy it from across the market. Almost all the major stores we are selling, and mainly from 14 Grand Store Detail showrooms.
Okay.
We are there in Virgin, we are there in Carrefour, and across the market, Instax is available and Instax films are available across the
Actually,
market.
it's a great gift too, no?
It is a great gift. That's one of the main advantage. Like in age groups, we got a lots of Instax cameras for the different purpose and different gauge groups. Especially when you talk about SQ6, it's a new trend. And so it is going for teenagers or kids or fashion. Or the
Well, I'm not a
millennials.
teenager, but I want
So
that.
millennials, all.
Like
It's
what we
for
always
everyone.
say, if there is no photo, it then happens. So you have to like get
Exactly.
something for your friends or for yourself. Cherish
Definitely.
the moment, keep the photos.
Are we allowed to ask you how much the price is?
Okay, price for this one is 629
Okay,
dirhams.
not bad.
Comes with a film.
Super.
It comes with a film, free. And now we have an offer, special offers running in the grand stores. Where you buy, you get an additional film free with it. So
Super.
basically one camera with the 2 films. So that's a DSF offer we are running in the grand stores.
I think that's perfect for Valentine's Day. What do you think, Alwi?
Yeah.
Right? To
It
capture
is.
those
It
moments,
is.
right?
It is.
But anyway, thank you very much. And
Thank
please,
you.
guys, please support our sponsors. Visit Grand Stores and take a load of this Instax SQ6, right?
SQ6, yeah.
SQ6, guys. Thank you very much, Jamshir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right, now, and we're going back to our Illustrado 100 Most Influential Filipinos in the Gulf, right? What's next on our list, Alwi? Next on our list
Well, I
is...
think we are now at number 39.
And this is all about the thought leaders,
Yes.
right? So we had the game changers, we had the trailblazers. Thought leaders are people who are leading in their fields, leading in the sector. Do you want to talk about number 39?
Number 39 is the representation of a world-class Filipino working for a global
Exactly.
brand.
Who would have thought? So Filipino behind the marketing communications of Emirates Airline. That is Joseph Alcantara. And, Joseph, he's not only brilliant, he's also very dynamic. And, he's a role model for Filipinos out there, for Filipino professionals. If you have to emulate somebody, Joseph Alcantara is your man. And you're going to be seeing a lot of him because he's also an Illustrado contributor. We're going to be churning out his regular columns in the year in 2019. And after Joseph, we have the other ladies of marketing in the UAE, and they're the ones who are driving these mega brands like the Ruth Palang, who is the director of marketing communications for the Dusit.
She's just very thankful that she was able to be given to have a stage to shine and do something good for the brand. She also opened 2 outlets this year, which is another bar opening on the 24th Street.
Asian street food, yeah. And of course, we have the marketing director, the PR and marketing director of Palazzo Versace, Rosemary Tacorda. I call her the lady with a charmed life because she's worked behind brands like Burj Al Arab, Emirates, Towers, The Address, and all these prestigious brands. So Rosemary Tacorda, ever the modest, humble person, but doing big things out there in the name of marketing. Now we have our rising marketing stars. Do you want to go quickly through our rising stars?
Yes. At 42, we have Johnny Balurot. I love this girl. She was an architect. Now she's doing marketing and she's handling 6 major brands under apparel group. And one of those brands is Jamie Oliver's.
Okay.
Best international franchise.
Yeah, super. So these Filipinos are actually behind these big brands. So we're not just talking about, small SMEs or regional brands. We're talking about international brands being spearheaded by Filipino talent and young Filipino talent at that. Next up, we have at 43 is Rudston Estrelado, who has won awards for his brands Ardeen and New Balance at the Middle East Retail Awards.
Yeah.
Rudston, he's a very young, very shy, very bubbly chap. And, you can't imagine him being so serious. And yet he does so much serious work for his company.
So many great things.
Exactly. And then we have Michelle Robis. Michelle Robis is also in charge of corporate marketing within the brand and social media and activations, sphere. And she's working at one of the region's most valuable real estate development companies and developer of prestigious and exceptionally built malls as
She is
well.
also looking after each social media platform of the company's 14 operational hotels
Wow.
and leisure clubs.
Can you do that? 14 hospitality
social media platforms.
social media platforms. That's amazing. A lot of work there. So you have the rising marketing stars. You have Jenny Baluyat, Rodston Estrelado, and Michelle Rabis. Next up, we have the community champion of the culinary world here in the UAE. Josephine Cuthbert, she is the Vice President of Administration and Affairs of Emirates Culinary Guild, which is the organizer of the highest profile culinary event here in the UAE called Emirates Salon de Culinaire. So every year, Josephine is tasked of bringing 1,500 chefs from 40 countries around the world. And this is an annual job for her. Huge job, right?
Wow.
1,500 top-notch chefs from 40 countries. And, in the past, she has also helped make a Guinness Book of World Records for the Department of Tourism and Commerce in Dubai by bringing 2,800 chefs from around the Emirates. So a very amazing lady out there, Josephine Cuthbert, doing great things in the culinary world. And then we have
at 46 Dr. Nino Desienorio. I admire this man. Very, very modest. Very well, soft-spoken. But he's very passionate also in what he does. And what he's doing is for young Filipinos to get the best education possible despite their financial limitations.
Yeah, so because of him, hundreds of Filipino students are able to afford top-notch university education and UK qualification. So there are a lot of students out there who are very thankful to the job that this man is doing. And we thank you, Dr. Nino. You're doing such a tremendous job. We hope that you continue and, more power to you in the future. So that's Doc Nino Desienorio. This guy doesn't need, an introduction. Dr. Romel Pilapil Sergio. He's also very well known in the Filipino community. He's not only a very prominent member of the academe, but he's also, very obvious within the Filipino community. He's doing a lot of works with the Filipino educators.
Because aside from the academic work that he does, he is also a humanitarian who is doing pro bono counseling programs for the distressed OFWs.
And he has a foundation back home which he established in 2015, and that has helped so many kids also get education, right? Next up is Dr. Rex Bacala, who is also an educator with the American College of Dubai. One of the guys who's had standing ovations through the years. Every time the student graduates, he is such a well-loved persona, and he's won quite a number of honors and awards also. So he doesn't need much of an introduction also. And, I think Rex is a good example of somebody who can really make a difference, shaping young minds. So we are very, very proud of what he's doing.
I think that's it with Dr. Rex Bacala. It's that more than the awards and the recognitions, it's really his students who will speak for him.
Definitely.
The admiration that these young minds have.
So it's not only about him being so brilliant at his work, it's how much he's loved by these students. And I think there's a special announcement that will be made by Dr. Nino, Dr. Romel, and Dr. Rex in 2019. So we're looking forward to that.
Very
I don't want to
excited
break
to
the
hear it.
surprise, but that is something happening this year that's really exciting for the Filipino community. Next, we have Susan Villanueva, who's also an educator, but at the same time an artist. She has won awards for the Sharjah Women's Colleges, Sharjah Women's University, Higher College of Technology, in competitions around the world like Emirates Skills, World Skills Asia, Euro Skills. But she also has time to work on her craft. She had her exhibition last year entitled Thank You to Baba Zayed. So not just an artist, also an educator making waves around the world. Next up.
And at number 50, we have Marlon Aquino Malinaw, who is an editor in Kuwait.
He's a senior editor in Kuwait.
Senior editor of Kuwait's leading English daily Arab Times. He started in 2005, but he became the business editor already.
And now,
no time.
as senior editor number 2 in the newspaper, in that leading English daily in Kuwait, he occupies a very important position, which is very good for Filipino representation, where you don't see a lot of Filipinos. He's also a
lot of people don't know this, but he is also a makeup artist.
Makeup artist, imagine the talent. So he's really brilliant and creative at the same time, and he's done a lot of amazing works, not only within the community. He's also directed Resty Lagari's show in the USA last year and was involved with Miss Austin, Texas and Miss Austin, Texas 2018. Right, and then we have Joanne Tuanyo. She loves this term, intrapreneur.
The butcher.
She's not a butcher. Yeah, she's a food nerd. Yeah, she's a foodie.
No, the love for the meat and
Exactly.
for food, the love for food.
So she's driving marketing efforts for Asia Gulf Company's La Carne brand, which is a brand of which is an outlet that sells gourmet, the best meat cuts in all of the capital, and their business is being patronized by not only chefs but hotels, golf clubs, and of course normal consumers. And Joanne is such a brilliant person that
there's a lot of things that you would learn from her. Like I did not know all these cuts until I met Joanne.
And she has brought the company to success in Abu Dhabi, and you know they're continuing furthering on their work, and their prominence is growing by